Can you ask?
Hold on, you guys need. We're about to go live.
Hey, what's up, everyone? This is BTC Jack Sparrow. We're here live with Don for Don and Jack Live. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing well, Jack. How about yourself, boss?
I'm doing great. I've just finished. We were a bit late. We just finished putting some lamb on the stove. That's going to be on the stove for the next 3 hours to get nice and juicy.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah, it's supposed to be delicious. So let's hope that's going to be some epic stuff.
Wish I was there to eat some, man.
I wish you were here for sure. So what do we have today, man? Like, are we talking any specifics today, or are we just gonna?
I think today we'll leave it up to you guys, and then we're gonna jump into I think Jack's got something special for us. He wants to talk about his premium indicator, where these longs and shorts, where the money's being at, and then we'll leave it up to you guys, those that are watching us, whatever pair you guys want us to look at, chart, whatever it may be. We'll jump into that.
Mm-hmm. All right, that sounds good. I think I have some interesting charts to share as well. So one thing I've been asked for on Twitter lately is to talk about a certain chart that I posted, and the chart it's this chart. So let me spotlight this. There we go, full screen here. So basically, what I've been showing people is this little chart with all these weird boxes, the red ones and the green ones, and people have been asking me what the indicator is. I might release it later on. It's not necessarily something you can trade off, but it gives you an idea of what the average market participant on BitMEX is doing. So basically, what this is the premium on shorts. So the orange line is the 3.5-day average of what people have been paying for shorts, and the red one, the blue one is the weekly average. And the numbers you see here on the right are the amount of dollars that people pay below or above price. If the indicator is above the zero line, that means people are paying below the index price. So what that means is BitMEX has contracts that you can buy that speculate on the price of Bitcoin into the future. And this is linked to an index. The index consists out of, I think, Coinbase, Kraken, and Bitstamp. So the price on these exchanges combined is the index. And if people pay below that price if they get shorts below that price, it's said that you pay a premium for a short. So basically, the other way around, when you pay a premium for a long, you pay above the price. So let's say Bitstamp is trading at $3,000 and BitMEX is trading at $3,004. If you want to get a premium, you pay $4 more for that long than you would actually if you would buy it spot on Bitstamp. So we call that a premium on a long. The other way around for the shorts, if BitMEX is trading under this index price, it's a premium for a short. And what I want to share with you guys is some historical data that goes back to like the beginning of 2018. And I'll have to adjust this chart a little bit. But essentially what it means is that when people are paying a premium for short, so when it's above the zero line, that kind of shows that either they're over leveraged or they are on average people paying above a certain price. But if you're a whale, you're not going to pay a premium. You want to get a discount. You always want to get the discount. And historically, when we had consolidation of the Bitcoin price on BitMEX, and there was a premium on shorts, price would go the other way. So this one is not as clear. This is way back in February 2018. But as you can see, the blue and the orange line are above the zero line. And we had some kind of like consolidation. But this is a weird place. Was not maybe not really a consolidation. This was just a massive panic dump. But then the next moment, this price comes into your resistance and there is a premium on longs. So the second time, the second high, the double high right here, and you see premium on long. Let's assume that on BitMEX, the average person, the majority of the people trading are retail traders. Like the majority of the people making trades are retail traders, and they are trading the majority of the time as well. So they create this index. If a whale is participating in the market, they often do that in a very short amount of time. They do it when they create liquidity, when they run stops, when you have these crazy price action moves. That's when they enter, but they don't constantly push the price in certain ways. Now, it's the retail traders who are likely to participate more often in time than the guys with the big money. The guys with the big money, they create the moments where they enter when there's a lot of liquidity because they need to fill the big pockets. So the next moment we see consolidation on the BitMEX price, on the Bitcoin price. We see there is a giant premium on shorts again. What happens is we actually see a diversion of price and price starts trending up again. And then we consolidate again. And you see people are paying a premium for longs. What happens afterwards is that price comes down again. And we can continue seeing this pattern throughout the entire bear market ever since 20K. It happens again here, 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 here. And then we really have to actually start zooming in because it, like price action really became non-volatile towards 6K before we dumped. But as you can see here as well, these consolidations kind of like pushed price in the opposite direction of the majority being long or short. So this brings me to this giant consolidation here. Do you see that, Don?
Yeah, that is giant. I was just about to say that is the longest it's consolidated, from that indicator.
It dwarfs like literally every other consolidation area.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can see right here, with the exception of a very short period of time in February, the average premium has not been for longs. The premium has been on shorts. So that makes me it influences my bias strongly that if during this entire consolidation, the majority of the people have bought shorts, which creates that wanted to have a short, which creates a premium on shorts, it makes me think that they're all going to get punished like so badly. What does that mean? Like, what happens if the people who went short, if the majority try to go short, like what happens if they get punished?
They traps them. There's a lot of liquidity.
Mm-hmm. So what's going to happen, you think, like if this assumption is to be correct, if that would mean that they will all get squeezed, they will all get price will go up in that scenario. So it's another thing that I found very interesting.
Now,
it doesn't mean that we don't go down right now. Like we could go to 3,500, we could go to 3,000. Like it would still be the same consolidation.
That was my next question. Could you see price, and will that indicator still be reading the same if we do see a dump to like 35 or 36, 3,700? Will it be the same?
I mean, if people start, like if the majority of the people start like paying a premium for longs, of course it's going to go below zero. So we cannot predict that. But what we know is that for the last, so like since mid-November until now, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 months now, even longer.
That is long.
People on average have paid a premium for shorts. So that means that if our assumption is correct, that the majority of the time, the majority of the people who are trading are retail traders who actually create this premium. That means that they are extremely over leveraged on the short side And that means that whoever is on the other side is going to try and punish them for beating
Right.
So that, like it's unlikely to think that like it probably what's going to happen if we actually dump to like 3 or 3.5K here. I think this is just going to increase. People are going to increasingly get bearish. Like the psychology of how people think as we come further down, they will start to really believe that we're going to go further down. So they will start, they are willing to pay a premium on that short. They could actually get it for spot price by selling their Bitcoin on the spot exchange, but they want to have a short and on BitMEX on a leveraged position, margin trading.
Yeah,
they are willing to pay a premium for that. There's always another party, like there's always the other side to every trade. And the question is, who is on what side? And what I believe from just looking at this indicator is that this represents the average retail sentiment. Because every time we consolidated and there was a premium on the long side, price would dump and the other way around. So yeah, I'm really interested to see how this is going to play out. But
yeah,
let's say that it could definitely dump to 3.5K, and this would still be the same consolidation. We could still pay premiums for shorts. It's definitely all possible.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see how that ends up playing out. We'll see where price action leads us in the next few days and weeks. So that's something special. I might have to get access to that indicator, sir.
Let's see who's in the chat. Yeah, I'll share this indicator later on with you guys if you want to.
Okay, somebody said PAL Network, and someone also said VET When Moon.
VET When Moon, Jimmy, how you doing, Jimmy?
It's one of my little babies, VET, from old times.
I got a chart on VET.
I do too.
Shall I share it?
Yeah, you can fire yours up.
All right. Let's see.
I got my own too.
Let me remove this little baby here. Yeah, so we're currently in a trade for VeChain.
We are.
And, I think our average entry ended up being like 117.
Exactly. That's what I got on my screen.
I kind of expected after this falling wedge here that we would have seen like a straight continuation all the way to 160 sats. We fell short like eight sats. But if we're just looking at, I think this chart is one of the most beautiful charts. It could definitely come back down to retest like 125 sats. It might do that later on because like after we broke out, let me remove this little line here. It actually never really retested that level. I think it retested wicks, but like it didn't really tap any OB down here, which I think it should eventually. But
right. I think that's where price is headed is to right now. Like if you notice, we need to tap some more demand before we see some upside continuation.
Mm-hmm. Well, this one's interesting. You see this candle here.
Yeah.
Like this hot, like this increase in velocity of price with like a little consolidation before it. There is a small possibility actually that basically this is like a resistance level because you consolidate and then you have expansion down. And there was quite some volume here and the move was quite strong. And then, like this was kind of like the selling climax. So we're kind of retesting the consolidation before reaching our selling climax, which might actually be a fairly nice level of support, but I wouldn't trade it. Like I would be like, we're in the trade. So it's kind of, like it makes you think about these charts a little bit different. But.
Right. And what I find also interesting, if you actually expand your time frames and you go on a higher time frame, it's really difficult to find high time frame supply like to signal one. Like if you look on that 3-day, there's really no order block that really stands out more than the other. There's a few there, but on the weekly, there's really nothing. There's no weekly supply until like 199 to 200 sats. If you notice that, it was just a major sell-off in VET. So
I don't know like how this baby is gonna how it's gonna do. Like on the 3-day it's definitely bullish. Like it definitely started a trend. Um, I somehow feel that this might actually cease continuation, but then I would have thought that I would have thought that we would have tapped that 159 level already. That's what I wanted to see, and it made sense. It made sense to tap 160. You know,
yeah, 160. Yeah, there's some higher supply up there. Even 167. Which I mean, this slight rejection to a range high tap. See, if I show you my screen, I'll show you what I'm looking at in terms of a range. Can I share my screen?
Yeah, let me unfocus myself. Let's see how this works. Gallery view.
I think I'm good. I'm good to go.
Hey, what's up, Sean Parpard? Good to see you in the chat.
All right. So I mean, this is kind of the range I was looking at as far as a 3-day. So we had a range high at 129, a range low at 102. Notice how we have some equal lows down here at 102. I was looking for this primary low to be swept at 101. Unfortunately, didn't get that. We got some equal lows at 102. Price continued to trend higher. Notice how we broke out of a range high. We closed above, back tested it a few times. If you zoom in on the daily, second here, it's not loading. If you zoom in on the daily here, it's fairly clean, guys. We broke out, back tested our range high a few times, 1, 2, 3, 4, moved up to a little bit higher supply. Currently getting rejected, trading within that block right now. I anticipate we pick up some more demand, maybe retest range high before we move higher. I mean, this is clear. High time frame direction is bullish, but it's going to take some time to develop. And this is the order block supply that I was mentioning before. If you notice, the sell off on VET was pretty vicious, guys. It was just straight red. Here's some high time frame weekly supply, and then if you dig into the 3-day, there's a little bit more, but it's really, really difficult to find that the high time frame supply other than that weekly. So as far as a clean one,
I did a little point and figure chart based off the wick off. Maybe I can redo it live. Let's see if that works. Pin video. How unpin video?
We're getting ADA legit.
ADA, yeah, let's go for ADA for sure.
ADA is nice. I can pull up ADA.
I definitely want to talk about Powell as well.
Yeah,
we could do a dragon chart for sure. I've charted dragon a million times right by now. So basically, if you guys are familiar with Wyckoff accumulation, you should also be trying to get familiar with the Wyckoff target formulas, which are based off point and figure charts. In short, there's a formula that Mr. Wyckoff came up with. He was definitely a legend, and he predicted a lot of distribution highs. Basically, what this formula does is it somehow has a way of telling when you're really in a bottom cycle accumulation, and the moment you actually leave that accumulation cycle, it tells you something about where the next distribution high is going to happen. I actually don't even know how he came up with this, but it's a very simple formula. As the moment you've defined your Wyckoff structure, which we kind of defined here, I kind of took away a few lines to make some things a bit more clear. But what I think based on this chart is that we'll have to come back down to 128, 127 sats. And that might actually be happening right now. You take the amount of bars in the Wyckoff, in a point of figure chart right here. It says 20 bars, but you have to count this one too. So it's 21. And the formula is 3, which relates to the number here. You would have to read about how this formula works to understand what it is. And then the 3e, exponential times standard, blah, 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 that's 3 sats. So 3 times 3, and then we multiply that with the amount of bars we have. So that's 21. Well, and then we'll have to see what that is. 9 times 21, 189. So 189, to that you add the level of the retest. So basically when we look at this, I expect a retest of this level, 126, 127, 128 sats. So we'll just take 128. That puts us at 317 sats as a possible projection for distribution.
That is right where supply is at. That's awesome.
Right where supply is at. You know, that so it makes sense, but it doesn't make sense, but it works.
Yeah,
I love to use this formula, and I love Wyckoff. So I mean, like for KMD, I can only do this for coins that actually really like left their accumulation, and actually that has not completely completed it yet. Either it has to break this resistance at 160, then I'm going to say, okay, it's completed, or it has to come back down and retest this level, and we're going to call it like the backup, which I need to see before I can actually use the formula. It's like a final step in the Wyckoff. But for KMD, we have a projection of like, I don't know, from the top of my head, it was around like 60K sats. So there's some room, and that was conservative. That was conservative.
Look at that volume that came in with the vicious wick.
Yeah, it's dirty. So
let's see what else we got?
Let's see. I got a pull chart. There's nothing on it. All right. Maybe you need to. With Cheese, because Cheese tells me that I need to punish you. Why is that, Cheese?
I don't know. Cheese is a bad man. But no, I got ADA here. I got ADA.
Let's hit ADA. Let's go for it.
1 second here. It's actually a little dirty. Let me clean her up.
Dirty. ADA has been dirty. Like it was supposed to come back down to my entries, and then it never filled my entries.
I don't really have my okay. So cool. This is I haven't really adjusted much here. It's been a minute. But notice how I have a range here, a clear break on the weekly range structure, break above. I actually was anticipating this weekly supply to be a heavy resistance, that's confluent with range high. I thought we were going to see resistance, but we actually got a complete clean break above. Look, followed by a retest right now at that equilibrium of this supply.
How bullish is that in your opinion?
This is bullish, guys. I'd like to see for Shees, this is extremely bullish. He knows it too. I'd like to see a test back at range high at this 1389 sats, before we move any higher. But dude, this is clean. There's a lot of highs that need to be taken out.
So let's say
I am bullish on this bad boy.
Let's say like in a scenario that it does retrace instead of continuation right here, where would you expect it to retrace to? Because I would be looking at like a 70% retrace of that swing low to that swing high. Let's see how that looks like.
Let's see that swing high. Let me think real quick. Let's see. Where would I look for a retrace? If this really doesn't look, let me see here.
Let's just pull a fit retrace from our swing low to our swing high and see.
From down here, swing low of
the next one, the next like one. The one before we make this giant move.
I gotcha.
Yeah, that one, and then let's see where we get our like the 50% is interesting because that collides with the other high right there. But let's have a look at these, dude.
Which is right.
See that it's range EQ. Yeah. So that's definitely a place where, like, if price comes back into it, you want to buy. Like, I'm not saying it will go there, but
this is an area of interest. I would, we had a nice break. I'd like to see, what price does around this block. I'd anticipate we sweep this, if we do move down here below range high, 12, that's a discount, guys. If you see 88 trading back with at 12.24, that in my opinion, that's a nice discount. So I think ADA, some short term, so it has some upside on the high time frame for sure. I know someone said AE. I want to jump into AE because this is one I've been actually following myself, and I like this. This is a nice range here. Clean range. Here we've been developing. We've just been trading. You notice on this weekly here, if I dig in, nice. Look at this, guys. Here's our range we developed. We're trading back above range EQ. Price does not want to go below. We're back testing this order block right now, currently this weekly. this is going to take some time to develop. These are all weekly candles, guys, but you know, there's some high time frame supply, you know, that's sitting freshly untouched up here. You know, we're looking at, let's see, from current price, we're looking at almost 45% upside here potential. But like I said, this is one that takes patience. So I like AE. I've been watching AE, and I will continue to cover AE in my Discord channel. So stay in touch with that one. What do you think?
You know, like consolidation is your friend, and of course we're looking at the weekly time frame. But the longer this actually continues, the larger the expansion will be. And at this point, if I'm looking at the market, I'm personally bullish. I think that Bitcoin could go to 3,500 or whatever. But I'm expecting my current bias that Bitcoin will have a rally in the next couple of months at some point. And I think these altcoins are at the bottom. So the ones that are actually interesting from a fundamental perspective and manage to go as long as possible sideways are the ones that, you know, they're going to run.
Yeah. I mean, this can rip, guys. Like, look at this chart. This thing could rip. Oh man, I like this consolidation down here, and my eyes are all over it, guys. So I'll be monitoring this one. I wanted to jump. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
No, go for it.
I wanted to jump back real quick, guys. I wanted to show you guys BCH. What I've been eyeing on BCH. You know, there's been some nice, you know, a nice range development down here. We consolidated below. We broke back above range high.
Should we punish Don for his BCH chart?
Everyone hates on BCH, but you know, if you don't like this positive price action, if you don't like money. If you don't like money, don't listen to me. So here's a weekly range we developed. We didn't close below. We broke back on the high. We retested the high, and we were actually developing a new range right here. What I'm seeing here. So,
but don't you think that could be like a bearish spring right there? Like like you ran that level.
Man, no, I think a back test. Look at this monthly. I think a back test to range high makes sense here. Back at 0.037842. And quite possibly this low that hasn't been taken out on the intra range, which is 0.0369. You know, I expect if we do trade below there and we go sweep this low, price will continue to trend higher. There's all these highs, guys, that need to be taken out. They're fairly clean. If you look on the daily, let me show you guys here. Sorry. Those are some clean highs that need to be taken out. And, you know, price is definitely trending in that direction. So, you know, I just wanted to present this to you guys because I'm actually very bullish on BCH. And, you know, some people don't like BCH for what it is, but I'm a big fan as far as what TA and price action presented. What is this man saying? Do I need a?
No, well, you know, like Philip is saying that Bitcoin Cash Satoshi's vision is the real trash.
You guy. All right, I'm gonna.
Let's have a look at Dragon because I think the Dragon chart.
You can whip up some Dragon Chain.
Of course, I always rip up some Dragon Chain. Let me unpin and then pin. Here we go. So what I really find interesting about the Dragon chart is this is a 3-day chart. So it, you know, like, man, this thing has been bleeding. And now it's going it's going sideways for quite a while. But if we zoom in on the, let's see if I can see it on the 3-day. Yeah, we can see it on the 3-day. So right here we have a swing low. Let's just mark it. Where's this?
X. Where's your X? It's right there.
I don't know. This is like coin signals that trade, so it's not set up for my preferences. But anyways, like this is a pivot in price. It's a bottom, and it reverts, and then it back tests with this wick right here. So kind of like this. Maybe I have to look at the 4-hour, but basically right here, in between here, this is an order block that kind of pushed price from around 2,000 Satoshis and then made a little run to 3.5, came back down to 2,000, and then it started moving. These are order blocks that are very important because they really ignited a giant bull run. What you want to see in general is a tap of that EQ. A tap of that EQ is oftentimes a level where you want to buy. So basically, price tried to come into this order block, but was rejected the first time right here on the first attempt to actually reach to it. And then let's switch to the 3-day. So
Dragon Train.
We then had this wick, and what I like to see was still a tap of the EQ of this range right here. So let me hide this, and it still didn't happen. The good thing was that we had this wick here and we ran the low, but actually never closed below it. So this was a decent buying opportunity, but definitely not where Dragon Chain was gonna change trend. Now we're getting to a level after tapping about a month ago, maybe even almost 5 weeks ago. We tapped the EQ. Look at it, like that was almost on the pip. So basically there was your like the most optimal trade entry. Mm-hmm. And now we have this little range. If I account this little wick here, then we're trading just above the 50% of it. If I use this wick here, we're trading at 50%. So we're consolidating, price is becoming less and less volatile. And then look at the volume. We're seeing increased volume right here.
That is perfect.
So what we're seeing is a consolidation, guys, of Dragon Chain. And it would not surprise me, and you've heard it here first, but by the end of this month, which it actually basically already is, Dragon Chain has always delivered on their roadmap. Like there hasn't been a single deadline they failed to reach. I know that they have a lot of on their roadmap for Q1, and I know they have a lot of on their roadmap for Q2. And there's some very interesting updates coming. I'm really sure that we're going to hear about it within the next 4 to 5 days,
right?
And it might actually start shaking up Dragon, especially if you just look at the chart. And don't tell me again, guys. Like I've told you guys before, and okay, it's not entirely true, but sometimes you can see the news in the charts. Basically, when you have a giant consolidation and there's going to be good news, it's probably going to propel it. It always usually happens in accumulation or distribution. And it's not planned that way, but it often happens that way. Like, I don't know why, but we'll see. We'll definitely circle back to Dragon next week.
Yeah. Let me, go ahead. What are you going to say?
No, I was going to pull up Powell because that was like, I think the last request we had.
Yeah, real quick before you pull up Pal, I just want to show you guys, what I actually seen on Enigma right now. This thing's actually breaking out right now. Look at this development that's really happening on Enigma here. We've been watching this thing in this range development since this range that I see down here, this 3-day range, guys. This thing is moving. We have some higher supply. We broke through our first high time frame supply at 3-day. Here's another supply that we need to cut through. Here's our weekly supply is just above that 3-day supply. You notice I indicated in pink. So, where is this headed next? I'd only imagine, after sweep these lows, after sweep of this order block, we traded back within range, consolidated for a little while, and we're absolutely moonshotting. We're off to the races here, guys. Now, next stop.
That thing is moving, eh?
It really is, man. It is in front of our eyes, guys. 1740. Look, this is going to keep going until we get some supply, guys.
Yeah, let's keep that chart. Let's keep that chart here for
a little bit. Let's just watch this thing go. I don't know that this actual EQ is. I could. Here we go.
Take that. Like I'd like to draw these between like the swing low and the swing high, but you don't agree with me on that, right?
Well, it really depends. I kind of, I'll jump into this daily here and I'll really, really look here. Here's a daily right here. It just actually tapped. Here's a daily order block. Boom. Right off the wick. We could see some downside here. Delete that. If you get the order, 17,600. So if I move this,
it already came through it. I think it's gonna.
Yeah, I mean, we tapped the high of that daily order block. Boom.
Usually is going to see some rejection, but probably some consolidation and continuation.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this thing, you know, here's a slight rejection at the top of the order block. I'd imagine I wouldn't buy this, guys. You know, I would not buy this after a pump. Don't follow the pump here. So just stay patient, wait for a retrace. This is gone. Forget about it. But
shall we do our final chart?
Yeah, let's jump into our final chart. And let me stop sharing here.
Boom. What are we looking at? This
Pal?
Like Pal came falling out of the sky, guys. Like literally, it hurt me. It actually did. So
only up 50% in 4 minutes. That's funny.
50%.
That's me.
What's the news on Enigma?
I don't know. There's got to be some type of news or something. I'm gonna take a look. Let me look. Well, it's funny. I just clicked off the screen and just bursted past that daily OB. It's headed to the next 3-day.
Mm-hmm. So actually, this chart, Paul, this Paul chart, it's a very clean chart. Basically, we have 5 major levels, and it actually, like you can see on Powell that it was very clean. It like this wick here was stopped by this wick. I'm confused. Powell's going sideways. I would say that it could be a giant sideways consolidation. This was like a test bump and someone accumulating a lot of Powell right here when it went all the way to 300. And then we had this again right here. I find it difficult. Like it was very easy to get into Powell, and I think I definitely put a signal out in my channel around 100 satoshis, which was right here. Like it was at range bottom. It swept the lows. You see that, Don?
Yeah, I see that. Just like a few times.
Yeah, like 2 times. So that was kind of like it never closed below it. It happens once. It happens twice. You try to get into this trade right here. Let's say like you got in that trade right here and you say like, I want to target range high, because usually, or you like, let's be conservative and you target like range EQ right here, right? You're trading the range and then you sell like 50% here and 100% at range high. Your stop loss is it's really easy. It's really close by. Like if you would put your stop loss at like 90 sats or like something like that, it's right here. And just trading to range EQ right here is a risk reward of 4.22. So the odds are pretty decent. And as you can see, it actually tapped like the range higher here too. So
right.
I like to think about these charts as whether you're trading against a premium or a short versus the range you're trading in. And I hope to God that this Fibonacci is going to look anywhere. That's clean. All right. So right here, you see the 50% of this range. Anything below this 50% is a discount to average price of the last, 4 months. So basically, let me reverse this. Any buy around these levels, like the 70 to the 80%, would be like beyond decent. And you already had a chance right here, and now it's resting on top of here. So I kind of think that it's time to get in Powell. Like I got into Powell at 100 sats here. But if I would have to make a re-entry, I would have tried to get this 79% right here, which it didn't tap. So that would have been a bit shitty. But you would have laddered orders between 119 to 112 and have a smaller position and have your stop loss out of the way. Like guys, it's people who are trying to get into trades and use really tight stop losses. Just don't do it, because it's your end.
That wick on Pal is, usually when you see wicks like that, that's some buy pressure that, usually after consolidation, after retrace a little bit, you see that wick begin to get filled. guys. I mean, this has happened numerous times, and I think we just saw an example, you know, on Enigma being one that I just showed you guys. This happens, guys. So you know, keep an eye on that. And Pal's one of those that stays quiet, and then it rips face. So keep your eyes on it.
It went 2x overnight. Like the day after, like I put it in my channel, I was like, "Hey guys, you should buy some Pal." And so I didn't expect that. I didn't know that was going to happen. But always be prepared for these kind of pumps. So always have your. This is something I didn't do yet. Like I didn't have my orders there yet. I had so it didn't work out. But guys, learn from your mistakes. Yep. Always put in some weird stink bits and weird stink bits go two ways. But yeah, as you say, like if this is a sideways consolidation range, accumulation range, then we're probably going to see continuation. And the reason why 100 Satoshis was actually, like fairly interesting is, let me see. I'm going to remove this one here. Again, like you have a swing low here. You have a swing high here. The retrace happens, and it happened near the 97%, between the 70 and the 80% level. This is we've seen this time and time out again. Like this is a discount. Like if you treat this entire thing as the recent range, this is 50%. Anywhere under 50% is if your bias is long. If you think you should be long, it's a discount to average price. Price will always consolidate back towards that 50%. And if it's bullish, it will go beyond and it will start firing. So, I mean, if we're going to clear this range, we're going to enter this range again, test this for the second time. Is it going to hold? Probably, like it's going to get tapped again. And then what? Like what range are you entering? This damn.
Mm-hmm. High time frame.
Like, let me put this on a weekly. Let's see. This is a giant, like.
Yeah, that's supply, just that's untouched, fresh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's say like it's going to be around here.
Yeah, use that.
I'm going to use this. So I would expect, like if Pal would be to start trading towards like break out of all the ranges we just mentioned.
I'd imagine when it breaks out, you could probably see a wick. So having orders there would, be my recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
Pal's one of those that always has wicks. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised for Pal to actually, like
trade higher, like actually trade higher.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like. If you look at the price action, it would not surprise me that we go like a little bit lower.
I'd like to see some, a little bit more accumulation. That range, let that range develop a little bit more.
That would be nice. So yeah, definitely some resistance at around 440 sats.
For sure.
If it manages to break through there, oh boy,
that is that we're gonna find new price discovery, right? Like we just recently saw in Raven. But you kind of see that that vicious sell off, that supply is so high, guys. That's the same thing we kind of saw in VET and Enigma that we just presented. So it's a correlation between the three and how price action actually develops. So keep an eye on that going forward.
Mm-hmm. All right. Should we thank everyone for watching and ask them to join again next week?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you want to do the final regards?
Yeah. Well, I kind of like these shows where we didn't really have a subject to talk about, but just a little bit, just start charting. I hope you guys did as well.
Okay.
Sorry, Edward, we're not watching. Well, I haven't watched XMR for a while. Philip did. He knows pretty much every chart out of his head. We'll have to look at it next week. Cool. Thank you, guys. Is there anything you want to add to this, Don?
No, I'm all good on my end, guys. If you guys got any suggestions on what you'd like for us to talk about on our next session, feel free to give us some ideas. We'd love it. Thank you guys for stopping by. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's punish Mr. Shees when we get the chance.
Yeah, I'll take care of him in Discord.
All right. Well, guys, take care. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week on Tuesday, hopefully on time this time. But as you know, we're active traders. Things don't always go as planned, but we'll see you guys next week. And thank you for watching.
Take care, guys.